Hello, everyone. I'm Jackie DeAngelis, along with Mark Thiessen, Griff Jenkins, and Miranda Devine, and welcome to the Big Weekend Show. The big story tonight. We are less than an hour away from the start of tonight's massive parade celebrating the U.S. Army's 250th anniversary. President Trump is set to deliver a stirring address to commend the men and women of our armed services and showcase America's military might. And while tonight is about honoring the Army, it's also a chance to recognize all those who serve in the military, because we should never forget that America is land of the free and home of the brave.
The soldier, the sailor, the airman, and the Marine in the United States and around the world are the ultimate guardians of our freedom.
Those who say that we're in a time when there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look. In places called Belleau-Wood, the Argonne, Omaha Beach, Salerno, and halfway around the world on Guadalcanal, Tarawa, Pork Chop Hill, the Chosin Reservoir, and in 100 rice paddies and jungles of a place called Vietnam.
The men and women in our armed services are our final protection against those who wish us ill. They make a commitment to the military, make it freely because the birthright we share as Americans is worth defending.
First large-scale military parade since the end of the Gulf War in 1991. Tonight, the Army will set off from the west end of the National Mall to march down Constitution Avenue toward the White House. We've got team coverage with Lucas Tomlinson at the National Mall. But first, we go straight to Gillian Turner from the parade route at 17th and Constitution. Hi, Gillian.
Hi, guys. Well, this parade is really going to try and tell the story, the history of the Army from its origins through today, its 250th birthday. We are expecting out here on the National Mall more than 200,000 spectators showing up. People are piling in as we speak, have been for a couple of hours. Take a look at this. There are going to be period costumes. There are going to be horse-drawn covered wagons at the end. We're expecting a fireworks show if the weather holds. So there's really something for everybody that's going to be out here today. Also expecting this, 6,000 soldiers will march in the procession, 128 Army tanks, armored personnel carriers, artillery, helos, all of this processed before the president, who will be sitting at a stand just steps away from here with 62 aircraft flying overhead. The Secretary of Defense was on our air earlier today. He said all of this is going to be great for Army recruitment. Listen.
Imagine the effect on the American people seeing the hardware and the men and women and the parades of who we are and how we defend freedom. We believe that'll motivate. We believe that supports recruitment. This is a full-on military parade, U.S. Army on demonstration through the years. You're in for something special.
The primary segments of this parade are going to highlight wars in which U.S. Army soldiers served proudly and en masse: Revolutionary and Civil Wars, the Spanish-American War, both world wars, of course, Korea and Vietnam, and then the Gulf War through today's fighting force. After the parade wraps, hoping President Trump's going to still address the nation, where he'll be joined by the First Lady. And then, as I mentioned earlier, a fireworks display to close it all out. The weather is out here, the big unknown factor. It is scorching hot, feels like 96 degrees out here when you're not in the sun. Following some storm clouds overhead, possibility of thunder and lightning a bit later from now, guys. So if you're watching, whether you're at home, whether you're out here with us, you know, be a little flexible. Things might get moved around, we're being told. Back to you guys.
And Gillian, you know, when you're preparing for an event like this, there's so much excitement. What is the zeitgeist like on the ground? What are people saying?
I think people are super excited to be here. Anyone who is here had to do a mile trek to get in through security. So it's not easy to get here, to be this close as we are to the actual parade. It's going to be right behind me here, up and down Constitution Avenue. We also interviewed two Army infantrymen earlier, sergeants, who told us that among troops, the atmosphere is jubilant. They are very excited, very honored to be part of this, obviously a historical parade.
Absolutely. Gillian Turner, thank you so much for that. Now let's head over to Lucas Tomlinson for a look at some of the crowds and probably talking to some people. Lucas.
Well, you bet, Jackie. Good afternoon from the National Mall. People are filing in here, thousands, in fact, as you can see behind me in front of the stage where the President of the United States will be celebrating the U.S. Army's 250th birthday. Security is tight here. There are snipers on the roof. The bag search coming in here was very thorough, more thorough than the airport, very serious. But people are excited. People we've talked to, in fact, we spoke to the parents of one of the Air Force pilots who can be flying over the White House in just about a few hours in a fifth-generation fighter jet, an F-22 Raptor, out of Langley to be exact. We also spoke to a soldier earlier who said he's really excited and honored to participate in this parade.
It's an honor to be out here doing a 100% once-in-a-lifetime experience that we're going to get to talk about for years to come. Just being out there in general, getting to take our vehicles down the road, drive by the president, everything about it is just, it's going to be awesome.
So as we heard earlier, there's going to be a lot of military hardware rolling down Constitution Avenue. And Jackie, like anyone who's ever thrown a party before, you just don't want to cause too much damage. We're hoping there'll be no damage tonight, according to the Army. These tanks, of course, these M1 Abrams tanks weigh about 70 tons. Your typical car only weighs about 1 ton. So we're hoping that all goes smoothly. The price tag on this parade this evening coming in about $45 million. Now, unlike the people here and the President of the United States, not everybody is so excited about this parade. Here's Governor Tim Walz earlier. So the parade kicks off at about 6:30 this evening. It's going to be starting by the Lincoln Memorial on Constitution Avenue. It's going to roll by to the east on Constitution Avenue in front of the White House. We're going to have fireworks. The president's going to speak at about 8:30 this evening. Of course, rain is in the forecast, about 99% chance of rain. But as you ladies know, and Griff, the Army is an all-weather service, so they're going to be marching rain or shine.
Hey, Lucas, listen. Forget Waltz's soundbite. We already heard that. Let me ask you this, because you have a military background. I obviously came to this network 25 years ago to do military history and have had the honor of serving or covering the men and women serving overseas. But you know, this administration has made a point. They want to reinvigorize patriotism in America. And you've been out there all day doing great reporting. When you've seen these young people, maybe even high school men and women walking around, seeing the Abrams tank, seeing the Bradley fighting vehicles, getting up close to it, what's that been like? How are they sort of reacting to all of this?
Well, Griff, yesterday on the mall, we had Apache gunships with a 30-millimeter cannon. We had Black Hawk helicopters. You had some old Army Cobras on the mall, vintage Vietnam War-era Hueys as well. People have come out for Army Challenge. So certainly, you know, the Army hit their recruiting goal months ahead of time this year. There's no doubt, I'm sure some more people will be signing up. We heard from the Defense Secretary earlier saying he wanted to join the military after attending a parade. So there's no question some of the people behind me, especially those young people you spoke about and we've seen out here, probably be pretty motivated to join the military after seeing something like tonight, especially if the rain holds and we get some of those cool flyovers. Or they can ride in tanks, too, armored personnel carriers, or be a red leg artilleryman. That works, too.
Good stuff.
Lucas Tomlinson, thank you so much. Great to see you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.